Parents of tweens, if you're familiar with far-off drop-offs...
Dad, stop, right here.
Or get DMs about what's for dinner, you may be experiencing tween milestones. For your son or daughter, these can start at age 9. HPV vaccination, a type of cancer prevention against certain HPV-related cancers, can start then too.
For most, HPV clears on its own. But for those who don't clear the virus, it can cause certain cancers later in life.
Embrace this phase. Help protect them in the next.
Ask their doctor today about HPV vaccination. Brought to you by Merck.
This is the Roger Stone Show on 77 WABC.
A man who's gone through hell, but he's kept going, and he's smart, and he's strong, and people love him. Not everybody, but people love him and respect him. Roger Stone.
Now, here's Roger Stone.
Welcome back. I'm Roger Stone, and this is the Roger Stone Show. Don't touch that dial at 770 AM, or if you're listening to us at WABCradio.com, stay tuned for what I think will be a great interview with a documentary filmmaker, Dinesh D'Souza. Dinesh D'Souza is, of course, the producer-director of 2,000 Mules, a movie which very profoundly affected the way we looked at the last presidential election. And now he is back with a blockbuster new film, which debuted this past week. This film, which is called Police State, is, I'm told, one of the most shocking and moving films in recent history. I have not yet seen it because, well, I intend to see it on November 1st at Mar-a-Lago, the same time President Donald Trump and others see the film. But it is my great privilege and honor to welcome Dinesh D'Souza to the Roger Stone Show.
Hello, Roger. It's great to be with you, and thanks for having me on.
Very, very much appreciate your being here to talk about this important film. We know that in the annals of history that art has often educated and affected public opinion. Oliver Stone's famous movie JFK, which took place decades after the 1963 assassination of President John F. Kennedy, actually engendered an entire new look and review on that horrific event. I would argue in many ways changed the direction of history. And I think in many ways your last film, 2,000 Mules, did the same thing. So tell us now about this film, Police State. Now, before you do that, let me say that this entire subject is near and dear to my heart because, as I think, thanks to CNN, most Americans know, on the morning of January 25th, 2019, at 6 o'clock in the morning, 29 fully SWAT-clad FBI agents arrived at my home in the pre-dawn hours in 17 armored vehicles. There was a government helicopter overhead. 2 FBI amphibious units pulled up to the dock behind my house. I then lived on a canal. Unfortunately, I've been forced to move to much smaller and somewhat less grandiose quarters these days. And my home was surrounded and then assaulted by 29 FBI agents brandishing fully automatic or fully semi-automatic M4 assault weapons for the purpose of arresting me for the non-violent first-time crime of lying to Congress under oath in my voluntary testimony to the House Intelligence Committee, in which the judge would later say that I lied to Congress to cover up for Donald Trump's involvement in Russian collusion, which we now know definitively never actually took place. So I have a personal interest in this film. You yourself, I've read your book, Obama's America, and I can see why you were motivated to make this film. Tell us about the film. Tell us about the process of producing the film and what really inspired you to put this cautionary production together and release it.
Roger, the film is called Police State. It could easily, in fact, it opens with a scene of a massive raid by the police agencies of government on a normal American family. It could easily have been a reconstruction of what happened at your house. The purpose of making the film is to alert the country that we are hurtling pretty rapidly toward a police state. And what's a police state? It's a state in which essentially all our basic liberties are canceled out. I mean, when we think of police states abroad, places like North Korea, China, the old Soviet Union, those are places that are characterized by mass surveillance of citizens, by systematic forms of censorship, by criminalization of political differences, the attempt to neutralize effective political opposition, sometimes lock up the leader of the opposition party. These are states characterized by political prisoners. And so I go down the checklist and I see that most, if not all, of those features are now present right here in America. So that's the essence of the film. The film shows a lot of whistleblowers and informants describing how this police state got started, how it is organized, who is running it. And then we also profile a number of, well, I would call them, ordinary Americans going about their lives and nevertheless coming face to face with the police state. I think that it's important for people to see that and to experience it because we've never had a police state in America. And so a lot of Americans think, well, it might be happening abroad, but it can't happen here, but it is.
Yeah, you raise an excellent point. The FBI themselves admitted in early 2023 a record number, I believe, in excess of 1 million warrantless searches on Americans. This, to me, is unthinkable. Now they assure us that has dropped very, very significantly. But frankly, I don't know why we should believe them. Some of the criticism of your film, and I haven't seen the film yet, is that much of your film is dramatized. But what you're telling me is that you have a lot of first-person whistleblowers in the film telling their story firsthand.
Yes, exactly. There's a fellow in Pennsylvania, Mark Houck, who goes to he's a pro-life activist, and he goes with his son as a kind of abortion clinic, a street counselor to discourage women from getting abortions. A clinic counselor comes out and starts accosting the son, yelling at the two of them. Mark Houck, in the heat of the moment, pushes the guy. He falls back. He's not harmed in any way, but nevertheless, he files a complaint. It's thrown out of court. And then the Biden administration swoops in and charges Mark Houck with, quote, interfering with reproductive services, the so-called FACE Act. And he's facing, I believe it was 15 years in federal prison. Now, this went to a jury, and the jury looked at it, and this has a happy ending. They threw it out within a couple of hours, so Mark Houck is a free man. He happens to have a lot of dash cam footage and footage of the event from the official raid on his house, which was very similar to the one on your house. So we show that in the film. but he also described with clinical accuracy what happened. We hired a couple of FBI agents and we recreated that scene for the opening of the movie. So there are some cinematic recreations, but they are done with clinical accuracy and they describe events that actually happened. They're also, we label it when it's a recreation and when it's actual footage, so there's no difficulty that the audience has in telling which is which.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, streaming now only on Netflix.
Shopping is hard.
I can never find anything in my size.
I don't even know my size.
I buy my clothes the same place I buy my groceries.
There's a better way. Make it easy with Stitch Fix. Just share your size, style, budget, and done. Your personal stylist sends pieces picked just for you.
That was easy.
Stitch Fix. Online personal styling for everyone. Free shipping and returns. No subscription required. Get started today at stitchfix.com.
In golf, precision is everything, on and off the course. PGA of America chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business for smooth operations and seamless transactions. Together, we enhance ticketing and concessions for better fan experiences from gate to green. This is pro-level efficiency. This is PGA of America with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
It's extraordinarily chilling. In my case, my attorneys had spoken to the special counsel's office on the day before my stunning arrest, which not only cost the taxpayers $1.1 million, but in which very clearly CNN was tipped off in advance. That's not conjecture on our part. I was arrested at 6:06 in the morning because my wife is hard of hearing, hearing impaired. She was unaware of the fact that the FBI had brought a battering ram up to the front door, as if I wasn't going to open the door, and had arrested me. She woke up looking down the barrel of an assault weapon, not knowing whether this was a home invasion or what had transpired. She was perp walked in her pajamas and cuffs outside my house. She's charged with no crime. This, I think, is referred to in your film as maximum visual impact. The idea is to send a signal to anyone else who might be, resisting and insisting on the asserting their constitutional rights. The special counsel was in touch with my lawyers the day before I was arrested. They needed to simply say that I was going to be charged, even though I think the charges against me were extraordinarily clever construction, because the government never produced any evidence of Russian collusion or WikiLeaks collaboration, or for that matter, any other crime. But that would not have provided CNN its made-for-television moment. I was arrested at 6:06. At 6:11, a producer for CNN sent my lawyer by text a copy of my sealed indictment, an indictment that would not be unsealed for 3 hours later by a D.C. magistrate. And that indictment had no court markings, had no timestamp, but if you looked at the meta tags, you could see the initials of the prosecutor who wrote it, Andrew Weissman, who now is a legal analyst for MSNBC. It cost $1.1 million because the government was on shutdown. For the next 13 hours, FBI agents ransacked every square inch of my home, every square inch of my nearby office, as well as an apartment I used to have in New York, but can no longer afford and gave up long ago. It's interesting to note that nothing whatsoever that was collected in those searches, in which the premises were left in a shambles, was used against me at trial. And then on November 3rd, 2020, only by court order, because of a lawsuit filed by Zero Hedge, pardon me, that's incorrect, filed by BuzzFeed, the Justice Department was forced to release the long redacted, long hidden final sections of Robert Mueller's ultimate report, in which he admitted that he had found no evidence of Russian collusion, no evidence of WikiLeaks collaboration on my part, and that even if he had, such acts would not have even been a crime. Nonetheless, I have been the victim of the police state. We lost our home, our savings, most of our insurance, our car, my ability to move freely. I know you featured some of this in one of your previous films, for which I am grateful, but I have experienced the police state firsthand, and it is indeed terrifying. If you're just tuning in, folks, we're talking to Dinesh D'Souza, who is the producer, director of the phenomenal new film, Police State. Let's take care of a piece of housekeeping business. Dinesh, tell people how they can see this film.
Roger, the best place to see the film is to go to the website, which is policestatefilm.net, policestatefilm.net. The film is available for streaming and purchase. DVDs are also available, so policestatefilm.net is the one-stop shop to buy your tickets.
What kind of effort, what kind of funding, what kind of preparation goes into making a powerful film like this?
Well, typically we have a small pool of investors that believe in the film and believe in the cause. They're not investing for money, they're investing because they want the information to get out. I try very hard to recover their investment in the market so I can give it back to them, so they can give it back to me, so I can then make my next film. So that's kind of my business formula. I call it recycled philanthropy. It takes me about 6 months, beginning to end, to make the film. And then, of course, we have to distribute it. The film was this past week in theaters, in hundreds of theaters, and most of them were just jam-packed out. And now it is available for streaming and for DVD. So it's very nice. People can watch the film at home. It's streaming on the video platform called Rumble, and the cool thing about that is you can also watch it on your big screen TV. So it's a very important film. You know, this is a Halloween weekend leading up to Halloween, and the Halloween is a time when everyone does this kind of make-believe, a make-believe atmosphere of fear. But But police state is the real thing. You just described in chilling detail the kind of thing that I show visually, cinematically, and from a lot of different angles. I cover censorship, political targeting. Of course, Trump is in the center of the film because he's the primary target of the police state. But I also show how the police state endangers many ordinary Americans. And the experiences, and I think you'll identify with this phrase, it comes from Orwell, of boot stamping on a human face. That's what a police state is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, just in terms of the terminology and the sloganing, that those on the left, those who are engaging and pushing censorship in violation of the First Amendment, those who are clearly involved in mass warrantless surveillance in violation of the Fourth Amendment, those who in some cases would require us to get vaccinated in violation of the Third Amendment, they are accusing us of endangering democracy. I mean, first of all, we're not a democracy anyway. We're a republic. We could be a democratic republic, but we're not a democracy. It is very interesting the way they try to seize the high ground in terms of the rhetoric, but I would argue that they're the ones who are endangering democracy.
Of course, but you are pointing out an important feature of our police state, which distinguishes it in some way from full-fledged police states. You know, in the Stalinist environment of the Soviet Union, if somebody came to arrest you, they would just trap you, they would come to the train station, they would grab you, no explanation given, no questions answered, and off you go to prison, never to be seen from again. Our police state is a kind of masquerade, and it marches behind the banner of saving democracy and upholding the rule of law and fighting for truth against misinformation and disinformation and even affirming freedom. So some Americans are a little bit taken in because when they look at Trump, for example, they see a courtroom, they see a judge, they see the formality, the bailiff, the kind of serene and somber atmosphere, and they think, okay, well, it must be on the up and up because they're objection sustained and so on. They don't realize that it is possible to use the outward shell, the kind of formulas of law, while hollowing it out from the inside. And that's really what our police state is doing. It's destroying our institutions and making a mockery of the practice of law, even while pretending to affirm the law.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. My wife of 39 years, a Cuban American, although born in the United States, grew up in Havana, and in her case, many of her relatives literally just disappeared in the middle of the night, never to be heard from again. No show was made of their arrest. In some ways, that is more chilling, I guess. But let me ask you, do you think the film is going to have an impact on the coming presidential election?
Well, it's not directly made for that purpose, but I do think that the attacks on Trump are so evidently linked to blocking his candidacy, so clearly a form of election interference, that to the degree that the film exposes that, people are going to know what's going on. Look, you know, if they had gone to Trump and said that you have been holding on to these classified documents, you're very stubborn, you won't give them back, we need to file a criminal charge to make you give them back, and so we're filing a single charge, that would be unprecedented, but it would be something we could look at. But the fact that it's, 90 plus charges in multiple jurisdictions, not just federal, but state, involving these Soros prosecutors with an shotgun approach of if we can't get him over here, we'll get him over there. I mean, this is so manifestly police-state thuggery. In fact, if it was happening in any other country, we would look at it and go, look at that tyrannical society. They're making a mockery of the practice of democracy.
PMS, pregnancy, menopause. Being a woman is a lot. Ollie supports you and yours with expert solutions for every age and life stage. They just launched 2 new products exclusively at Walmart. Period Hero combats bloat, mood swings, and more during PMS. And Balance Perimeno to support hormonal balance, mood, and metabolism during perimenopause. Grab yours at Ollie.com. Ollie! These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Acura's all-new ADX, a compact SUV that isn't just built for one thing, it's precision-crafted for everything. To escape the grind with available all-wheel drive. To go with your flow with available Google built-in.
Hey Google, turn it up.
Okay, turning up the volume. And crafted to be heard with an available Bang & Olufsen premium sound system. The all-new Acura ADX, crafted to match your energy. Acura, precision-crafted performance.
Take your vibes and go, 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 go.
Google is a trademark of Google LLC.
Choosing a bottled Starbucks Frappuccino drink that's all flavor and just 100 calories? Easy. Choosing between creamy vanilla, double chocolate, and sea salt caramel flavors? A little harder. Try the delicious new Starbucks Frappuccino light drinks. Look for them wherever you buy groceries. Start with Starbucks coffee.
I'm Cindy Lauper. My psoriasis was all over, even on my scalp, which may mean 4 times the risk for psoriatic arthritis. But Cosentyx works on both.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis 300 milligram dose and adults with active psoriatic arthritis 150 milligram dose. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at Cosentyx.com or 1-844-COSENTYX. Ask your doctor about Cosentyx.
Yeah, I'm interested in the censorship aspects of this. With this film or with your previous films, did you try taking any of those films to the mainstream streaming services, and if so, what kind of reaction did you get?
We found with 2,000 Mules that we were blocked in many different ways from normal types of distribution. And I should mention, and I haven't actually mentioned this publicly before, that with Police State, for example, we submitted it to Amazon to sell DVDs on Amazon, and they declined. We submitted it to Walmart to sell DVDs, and they declined. Now, again, these are private companies. They are allowed to sell whatever they want. But isn't it telling that you've got a film, and quite frankly, it is describing events that are real? In fact, there's not a single challenge to a single fact in the film from anywhere, to my knowledge. And yet, they're like, we don't want this message to get out. Now, fortunately, we have other places where we can sell DVDs. So I would urge people to go to policestatefilm.net, support the film by watching and streaming it, but also pick up DVDs, which are a nice way to share the message with other people.
Going back to your previous film, 2,000 Mules, an extraordinary accomplishment. Are you satisfied with the public impact that incredible film has had?
Yeah, my films tend to sort of explode outward, and people share them, and they also tend to have an increasing impact over time. So the goal of a film is always to bring widespread public awareness, and so I've been very pleased and honored that my films have this kind of wide reach, despite being blocked at so many different quarters. And by the way, also Fox News, I didn't mention, but Fox News made no mention of 2,000 Mules. At one point when Kerry Lake mentioned it, the Fox host kind of almost turned ashen pale, and they've given no coverage, at least to date, to Police State.
Really quite extraordinary. You have a big event coming up on the 1st of the month at Mar-a-Lago, the President's palatial property in Florida, which, trust me, folks, is worth a lot more than $18 million, as determined by a civil judge in New York City. Tell us about that event.
That is a private event. It's our red carpet premiere. Typically, a red carpet premiere will have the people who are in the film. It's kind of friends of the film, obviously people who invested in the film. There'll be media there and some influencers. The idea is for them to see the film in a kind of grand setting, to talk about the film via the media. We'll also be doing some interviews and streaming from the Mar-a-Lago property. This is November 1st. But the film is already, sometimes the red carpet is before the film is released. But this film is out. It has been in theaters for a couple of days very successfully, now in streaming, so you can actually get ahead of the red carpet premiere and watch the film today by going to policestatefilm.net.
Actually, a group from my church went and saw it last night. I would like to have gone with them, but unfortunately I had a conflict. But they told me that at the conclusion of the film had a standing ovation. That is quite a tribute to you, my friend.
Well, it means a lot. I'm not giving away much when I say that at the end of the film we have a moving scene. It's a January 6th political prisoner. It's late at night. He's in a cell. He starts singing by himself. He's joined by one guy, then another guy, then another guy, into a kind of haunting chorus. So it's a very poignant. It's not entirely triumphant because there's a sadness built into it. It's a very profound way to end a film. And this is an experience I can promise you that you will find if you watch this film, it is unforgettable. You should see it, Roger. Well, you will see it soon, but I'm urging people to see it right away. policestatefilm.net.
All right. Unfortunately, we have to leave it there. My great thanks to my friend Dinesh D'Souza for joining us today to talk about this blockbuster film, Police State. One more time, tell folks where they can see it.
Go to the website, policestatefilm.net. The film you can purchase it for streaming now. You can also buy DVDs, and it'll tell you where you can click and get those. policestatefilm.net.
All right, there you have it. Dinesh D'Souza, thank you so very much for joining us on The Roger Stone Show here at 77 WABC Radio.